From sitcom sidekick to global action hero, Chris Pratt has taken Hollywood and audiences everywhere on one unforgettable ride. Known for his wit, warmth, and everyman charm, he's become a household name on screen. But behind the charisma is a deeply personal journey, one marked by real love, quiet heartbreak, and the kind of growth that only life and loss can bring. From his early romance with Everwood co-star Emily VanCamp to a heartfelt marriage with Anna Faris, and now a grounded new chapter with Katherine Schwarzenegger, each relationship has mirrored a different phase of his evolution, not just as an actor, but as a man. Along the way came whispers, headlines, and tabloid speculation, with names like Jennifer Lawrence, Olivia Munn, and Pom Klementieff, reminding us that fame often complicates what the heart already struggles to define. But through it all, Chris has remained remarkably grounded. He's never been one for drama or public spectacle, choosing instead to move forward with kindness, maturity, and quiet strength. So if you're curious about the real love story behind one of Hollywood's most beloved leading men, stay with us. Because this isn't just a list of names, it's a timeline of transformation, of resilience, and of finding something real in a world built on illusion. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the love lives of your favorite stars. 1. Emily VanCamp, a quiet love that started on screen. Before the blockbuster hits and Hollywood headlines, Chris Pratt experienced one of his earliest and most genuine romances with actress Emily VanCamp. Their story began on the set of Everwood, where Chris played Bright Abbott and Emily portrayed his on-screen sister Amy. While their characters shared a sibling bond on television, something real and tender developed behind the scenes. From 2004 to 2007, they quietly dated, forming a relationship that, though unexpected, was rooted in genuine affection. The fact that they played siblings on the show raised eyebrows, and public reactions were mixed. Chris later admitted they were used to hearing things like, "Ew, that's weird," but they chose to focus on how they felt, not how others perceived them. In his words, "It felt a little strange at first, but love is love." For months, they kept their romance under wraps, exchanging quick glances and stolen kisses off camera, careful not to let it affect their work. But when they did go public, Chris felt relieved. He stood by their relationship with quiet confidence, never letting outside noise dictate what he knew was real. What made their bond so compelling was the respect they had for each other, on and off set. Even during tough moments in their relationship, they never let it interfere with their work. Chris once noted how their personal understanding actually made them better scene partners, adding depth and chemistry to their performances. Though their romance eventually came to an end, it did so with grace, not drama, and in a twist of fate, both went on to become part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Chris as Star-Lord in Guardians of the Galaxy, and Emily as Sharon Carter in Captain America, and the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. While they've never shared a scene in the MCU, fans can't help but smile knowing their stories once intertwined in real life. Some beginnings may not last forever, but they teach us what it means to love with sincerity and let go with dignity. 2. Anna Faris, a love that grew, changed, and ended with grace. After his early romance with Emily VanCamp, Chris Pratt stepped into what many believed was his forever love, with actress and comedian Anna Faris. From the moment they met on the set of Take Me Home Tonight in 2007, Chris was smitten. He once said he knew he wanted to marry her after their very first encounter, a bold sentiment that turned out to be more than just romantic flair. It was the beginning of a love story that, for a time, felt like the real-life version of a Hollywood fairy tale. At the time, Anna had just come out of her first marriage, and Chris was still a rising actor waiting for his big break. But together, they found laughter, comfort, and connection. 2 years later, they quietly wed in Bali. No press, no red carpet, just two people in love. As their marriage blossomed, so did their popularity. Fans loved their chemistry, their down-to-earth humor, and their willingness to share the quirky sides of their relationship. From bickering over dishes to stories about their pets, they became one of Hollywood's most relatable couples. In 2012, they welcomed their son Jack, born prematurely and requiring extended care in the NICU. It was a deeply emotional time, but one that brought them closer. Chris put his work on hold to be there for his family, while Anna called Jack the strongest anchor in her life. But as Chris's star rose, Guardians of the Galaxy, Jurassic World, the Lego Movie, so did the demands of fame. Constant travel, red carpets, and media scrutiny slowly chipped away at the world they had built together. In her podcast, Anna later admitted that the sudden shift in spotlight made her feel like she was being pushed out of the private bubble they had once shared. Despite still loving each other, they eventually recognized they were heading in different directions. In August 2017, after 8 years of marriage, they announced their separation. It wasn't messy. There were no public fights, no scandals, just mutual sadness and quiet respect for what they had been. Even in divorce, Chris and Anna set an example. They agreed to co-parent Jack with shared custody, kept a joint bank account for his expenses, and even committed to living within 5 miles of each other until he finished 6th grade. It wasn't the end of love. It was the beginning of a new kind of family, the Jennifer Lawrence rumors. As Passengers hit theaters in 2016, featuring Chris and Jennifer Lawrence in a steamy sci-fi romance, the chemistry was undeniable, and so were the rumors. With Chris still married to Anna at the time, gossip columns lit up with speculation about a behind-the-scenes affair. But the truth was far less dramatic. Jennifer publicly denied the rumors, saying, "I never had an affair with Chris Pratt. Those stories never happened." She even joked, "People keep blaming me for their breakup 2 years later, but I was literally in Montreal." Chris stayed silent, as he often does, choosing not to fan the flames. Anna, in a rare moment of vulnerability, admitted that the rumors hurt her, even though she trusted Chris. She also praised Jennifer for personally reaching out and apologizing, an act that turned them from tabloid targets into actual friends. In the end, there was no off-screen romance, just two professionals doing their job. But once again, Chris showed grace under pressure, refusing to let noise define his truth. Three, Olivia Munn. When rumors met reality. After his divorce from Anna Faris, Chris Pratt became the subject of endless tabloid buzz. Hollywood couldn't stop speculating who the Guardians of the Galaxy star would date next. And when a dinner with actress Olivia Munn made headlines in early 2018, the rumor mill exploded. Photos surfaced of the two allegedly sharing a cozy evening in West Hollywood. Suddenly, they were being linked romantically. Fans started digging up old clips from The Late Late Show, overanalyzing their playful banter, and even pointed to their shared love of birds, something Anna Faris had once mentioned in a podcast. The theory? That Olivia and Chris had more than just dinner? But this wasn't your typical Hollywood rumor. Olivia Munn handled it with rare grace and humor. Instead of staying silent or going on the defense, she reached out directly to Anna Faris. "I would never respond to gossip," she texted Anna, "but since we know each other, I just wanted to personally let you know. There is 0% truth to the story about me and Chris." Anna's response? Warm, witty, and completely unbothered. She joked that Olivia becoming her sister-in-law would actually be amazing. It was a moment that left fans applauding the maturity and genuine support between two women so often pitted against each other by the press. Olivia later shared their exchange on Instagram, adding playful hashtags like Crolivia and Prune to poke fun at the absurdity of it all. "Not every woman hates the next woman after a breakup," she wrote. "We support each other more than people think." Her words not only shut down the gossip, but highlighted the power of kindness, honesty, and mutual respect, something all too rare in celebrity culture. Of course, some outlets still tried to stir the pot, citing anonymous sources who claimed there was real chemistry. But with clear denials from Olivia and a calm silence from Chris, most fans accepted the truth. This was never a romance, just a friendship misread under the magnifying glass of fame. In the end, this wasn't a love story. It was a lesson in how to shut down a rumor with dignity, clarity, and a little bit of class. 4. Katherine Schwarzenegger. When faith found its match. After years of fame, heartbreak, and endless speculation, Chris Pratt surprised the world, not with a new blockbuster, but with something far more grounded. A quiet, sincere love story with Katherine Schwarzenegger. Their relationship became public in the summer of 2018, drawing immediate curiosity. He was the witty, action-packed leading man of Guardians of the Galaxy. She was a best-selling author, advocate, and daughter of Hollywood and political royalty, Maria Shriver and Arnold Schwarzenegger. On paper, they seemed worlds apart. But in real life, they were exactly what the other needed. While the world still buzzed about his divorce, Chris and Katherine built something quietly resilient. From their first public outing on Father's Day in Santa Barbara, it was clear this wasn't a rebound, it was a reset, a relationship rooted in faith, understanding, and emotional maturity. Yes, some fans missed Chris and Anna, but over time, the warmth and strength of his bond with Katherine won hearts. They weren't flashy, they weren't chasing headlines, they were simply living, with intention and love. Behind closed doors, the connection was growing. According to close friends, they talked every day for months before anyone noticed. Maria Shriver reportedly introduced them, and the match was instant. Just 9 months after going public, Chris proposed. And 6 months later, they married in an intimate Montecito ceremony surrounded by family, including his son Jack and the entire Schwarzenegger clan. Their life together has been refreshingly private, yet undeniably rich in meaning. Katherine embraced Jack as a loving stepmother. Together, she and Chris welcomed 3 children, Lila, Eloise, and Ford, whom they keep out of the public eye. No paparazzi shots, no front-page exclusives, just a promise to protect their kids' privacy the way Katherine's parents once did for her. Chris has spoken openly about how faith brought him through one of the hardest chapters of his life. He once described feeling empty before meeting Katherine. Today he calls her Chief, a tribute to the love, leadership, and grounding she brings into their home. And it shows. They go to church, walk their dogs, host simple birthday parties, smile often, love quietly. In an industry obsessed with spectacle, Chris and Katherine are a rare kind of couple, steady, spiritual, sincere. Their families have blended seamlessly. Chris shares a strong bond with his brother-in-law Patrick and a deep respect for Maria Shriver, who helped connect the dots that led him to this new chapter. Even Anna Faris, Chris's ex-wife, has expressed genuine happiness for their marriage, and they continue to co-parent Jack with kindness and grace. This isn't a Hollywood love story built on spotlight. It's a story of renewal, of choosing peace over attention, and of finding love, not in the biggest moment, but in the right one. Five, Pom Klementieff, chemistry on screen, respect off it. Throughout the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy, Chris Pratt and Pom Klementieff built more than just a working relationship. They formed a dynamic, heartwarming friendship that left fans wondering, was there something more? As Star-Lord and Mantis, their on-screen connection was undeniable. Off-screen, they shared countless laughs at press events, exchanged playful banter, and displayed a kind of chemistry that felt effortlessly real. Whether it was teasing each other during interviews or collaborating behind the scenes with director James Gunn, they always appeared naturally in sync. Then came the sole premiere of Guardians Volume 3. Chris, dapper in a tailored suit. Pom, radiant in a bold plaid dress. The two lit up the red carpet with such ease and joy that fans couldn't help but ask, are they more than co-stars? Rumors only intensified after a story surfaced about a spilled coffee incident on a flight. Chris had accidentally ruined Pom's designer bag. And to everyone's surprise, she didn't get mad. She cried. But it wasn't about the bag. According to James Gunn, it was the emotion of realizing their Guardians journey was coming to an end. Cue the internet sleuths. Fans analyzed every glance, every quote, every inside joke. One moment stood out. Pom jokingly praised Chris, then laughed, and no, we're not being paid to say nice things about him. Despite the buzz, both actors kept it classy. In interviews, they made it clear. This was not a romance, it was something different, and in some ways, just as meaningful. A genuine friendship forged through years of shared work, respect, and deep trust. Pom once described the Guardians cast as family, a bond born from long days on set, emotional goodbyes, and the magic of making something that mattered. And when asked about the rumors, Chris did what he always does, smiled, sidestepped the gossip, and shifted the focus back to the work. In a universe full of superheroes, it's easy to dream up love stories. But sometimes, the real magic lies in a friendship strong enough to inspire, even when it never crosses the line. From quiet glances behind the scenes of Everwood to a heartfelt proposal on the shores of Montecito, Chris Pratt's journey through love reads like a cinematic story, one shaped by growth, heartbreak, faith, and resilience. Some relationships ended quietly, like with Emily VanCamp. Others, like his marriage to Anna Faris, felt destined until life pulled them apart. Along the way, rumors swirled. Jennifer Lawrence, Olivia Munn, Pom Klementieff, whispers that never turned into more. And then, finally, came Katherine Schwarzenegger, a chapter rooted in faith, family, and the kind of love that feels like home. Chris Pratt isn't the only star to weather the ups and downs of love in the spotlight, but what sets him apart is how he moves forward, with respect for the past and honesty in the present. No drama, no denial, just quiet dignity and a heart still open to something real.